good to see you. Thanks for joining us. This video is about timelines, timeline jumping, quantum leaps, the Mandela effect, synchronicity, and everything else involved in this ascension. The movement in and out of experience is really the movement in and out of timelines, which is another way of saying parallel realities. So within each expression, within each movement, within each energetic input, we signify which reality is to envelop for us. The void of chaos is the expanse of everything and nothing simultaneously. In Greek, chaos means emptiness, and in Greek mythology, the void of chaos is the origin point. This is seen in Norse mythology as well, in which Ginnungagap is the void creation unravels from. Parallel realities coincide with our movement in and out of each moment because the universe bends in whichever direction our consciousness adheres to, because possibility exists in each now moment. Each now moment contains the emptiness which allows for this bending. And the greater the space we allow via expansion, the greater and more harmonious the outcome. And this is what I mean. Parallel realities imply that realities already coexist right next to each other. There is no actual time. As we say, time is a series of now moments moving into itself always. We simply move from one already existent timeline or reality to another already existent timeline or reality. And we do this billions of times each second without a conscious mechanism of control. And in this way, we generate the illusion of movement and space and time and motion and change. Imagine each moment, both within and without, containing infinite snapshots that culminate into each other. It's the domino effect. Nothing actually changes, structurally speaking, because everything already exists. Everything happens in a oneness, which is the same thing as saying we pull from the void, which is everything and nothing, and call that creation. Every timeline consists of a sequence of parallel realities that all make sense within a particular timeline. And there are endless timelines, and each timeline consists of even more parallel realities and universes. So the Mandela effect, this thing which has informed us of changes in particular, names, logos, words in movies, maps, and locations in the world have tweaked. Changes in world events and histories, changes in even the human anatomy. So what's this all about? These effects are here to inform us of this truth. Many wish to claim Mandela effects result from satanic experiments run by some evil hidden hands. But the Mandela effect has been here to reflect to us the instability of matter as we've wrestled with our own illusion. Nothing is as it seems, absolutely nothing. And reality itself can simply tweak without an objective cause. That's not to say there isn't a cause, but all energetic upgrades result in an upgrade of one's timeline. But by the time a timeline is tweaked, by the time you are in a particular now moment, you are existing in the effect of your energetic cause. Sounds paradoxical? Well, embrace it or degrade. Which means something is going to be tweaked always, if for no other reason than to display to you that you can and do bend the fabric of what you think you can be, which bends the fabric of time and space, as within, so without. Hence, we receive synchronicity, amazing coincidences. Number syncs, verbal syncs, it's endless. And we receive these synchronicities because we are ever more synchronized in our own essence and able to tap into even more cohesion pulled from the void of chaos. In other words, when one becomes comfortable with the mystery, then the revelation automatically protrudes. We can explain it this way. Each second, you're being moved by yourself. And there are infinite parallel realities, and you can connect to those already existing timelines in any order you desire. And the living souls are working to integrate this multi-dimensional perspective through integrating heaven and hell. We are building stronger bridges of connection to creation itself. And when one person accomplishes this, it helps wisdom to penetrate all individuated threads of Sophia, of wisdom, which we are all fractals of. Change is inevitable within experience. So instead of being the receiver of change simply, as most humans claim they are, right? This happened, I'm in this maze of confusion, what's happening? Instead of consenting to that reality, why don't we be the progenitors, the propagators of harmonious change? And when it's understood that this change is always involving a transmutation of the light into the dark, the seen into the unseen, then change becomes only dependent on you, honey boo, and not codependent on how you or how your efforts are to be received. Knowing this, we can steer ourselves into Ascension, Hyperborea, Shambhala. By the time we exit this matrix, this womb, which has taught us so much about what it is we are not. And Sophia, by the way, is supporting this possibility above all other possibilities. By the time we do this, those who remain in illusion, from one perspective, will be given a copy of you or a reflection that you disappeared or died or something due to, an unfortunate circumstance. Here's why. Because one's non-existence in your life is the same thing as one's existence without your observation. And this truth doesn't mean we should defile anybody. Dolores Cannon stated that those who achieve the new earth will be rejoicing as they recognize that they finally made the ultimate timeline jump. And she said those on the old earth will be shaking their heads going, she died with all those crazy ideas. Because only those on your timeline can understand the shift. Now, I do not subscribe to this idea in this way. Because the non-player characters of this matrix are not the product of this mother-child relationship that the living souls have with Sophia. These background characters who are duality incarnate, they're the products of the split between the mother-child between the Sophia-Christos. And as we've been explaining lately, when integrated, opposites come together in complete harmony, but when unintegrated, tension arises. Because when both sides retreat to their separate prison cells, the gap between must manifest an AI replacement, or in other words, a toxic form of that which was lost. And one obvious manifestation of this is the energy extraction system, the energy extraction matrix, along with all those who are the products of its orchestrations. The living souls have not been products of this system. We have been the foundation, the causality of the system, which of course now seems to be running amok, but don't be fooled. Like the story of Frankenstein goes, a creator can feel trapped or misunderstood by its own creation if that creation is the result of duality or confusing, maybe disharmonious intentions. We've heard the biblical scripture. Enter through the narrow gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. Here's the Hermetic translation of that. The alchemical path gets more and more narrow as we refine our definitions of who we are, what we could be, and exiting even those very definitions. This scripture relates to this idea that what is displayed in the masses or popularized in any form, even in a spiritual format, is typically the inverse of what results in full integration and joy, a sense of delight. When one's energies are used sloppily, without regard for cause and effect, without regard for how creation operates, which is really how one operates, then one sends contradictory vibrations to the magic mirror of reality. Because it's always a magic mirror. And through this, one who sloppily uses their energies ends up creating destruction through a lack of understanding. This is why entitlement to what you require and desire is absolutely divine. You can feel entitled to the narrow gate which leads to Hyperborea, to Shambhala. You can and should be particular about which energetics and timelines you so wish to imbibe yourself in. And when you can do this in a state which allows just as much as you dictate, masculine and feminine merging, then you get the best of both worlds. Spirit and matter merge. Beautiful, bountiful. Okay, baby, what's your decision? Well, you're already making it in each now moment. You think things can only happen because you pinpoint exactly what it is you wish to happen? Usually by the time you pinpoint something that you so wish to happen, you're already on the very timeline in which that thing is happening. We must be comfortable about this consistent motion of our energy, of our creative potential. There is no end point, just as there is no starting point. There is no definitive moment which allows us to forfeit this truth I just spoke of, because the forfeit of truth creates forgetfulness, and this reality has been the reflection of forgetfulness. All we got to do is remember how the cosmos operate, which is really how you operate. And this has only been able to be reestablished through experience and even torment. So perfection is achieved through disregarding the desire for perfection. The sun shines, and doesn't maintain its perfection because it knows what it is. It does what it does. The sun's rays project matter, just as you project those rays which project matter, or maybe they project you. I don't know. Maybe we should end this video before we get ourselves in a little doodle gaggle, which gives us the heebie-jeebies. So, thank you for joining us. Keep up the great work. Tweak those timelines, and let them tweak you. Keep up the great work. I love you all.